Boom, down, down. Yeah, it's your boy Big10. Thank you all for tuning in with us, rocking on a beautiful Friday morning. We appreciate the love and support. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button; goes a long way. We covered Pitt having an unmerciful whooping on Syracuse. Oh my goodness, last night that was hard to watch. Then we talked some Rams football, where the Rams, they made the Vikings one-dimensional, and they systematically made the offense grind to a halt because the Vikings were kicking field goals the entire second half of that game. Then we talked the New Orleans Pelicans. No Zion Williamson, no problem. They make short work of the Bulls. They have Portland tonight. New Orleans goes to Portland, and the Bulls go play the Bucks. So, like I said, we'll report on that. Then we talked some SEC football and the disappointing teams in the SEC, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma. We thought that was going to be a little bit more. We thought that was going to be better. And from the SEC, we pivot now to the Big 10. You all know that I'm a Big 10 homer. I'm a Ben Tig wonk. So I can honestly say this hurts me to go ahead and slap this out here, but I am severely disappointed in UCLA and Deshaun Foster because, yeah, Deshaun Foster, he's got to take his licks as a head coach. He's got to get kids motivated, and he needs to go ahead and resurrect the program. Chip Kelly was there, but then in the middle of last year, he bolted for Ohio State with a chance to win the national championship. And looking at UCLA and what the record is right now at UCLA at 1-4, I think he made the right choice. UCLA right now 1-4 in the conference, 2-5 overall, 0-3 at home, 2-2 on the road. I don't even know how you make this pretty. Looking here at when they got carved up against Indiana 42-13 at home, it really opened my eyes to Indiana, and it really opened my eyes to UCLA because for all of the hype, Eric Bieniemy was going back to Brentwood. I thought that them two hooking up, you would see something dynamic because they would have the NIL money. You're playing on the West Coast. Again, not to go ahead and get sidetracked, Kendrick Lamar has a song called Recipe, and the hook lays out why people want to be in California: women, weed, and weather. Ha! That's it. And if you're a kid, a high school kid going college, and you're just like, hey, look, I want to play in nice weather and see a lot of nice looking women. I ain't too much for the wacky tobacco. Yeah, Cali's it. Or any other place on a coast with a beach where you're not going to be in any kind of danger of a typhoon or a hurricane. But nonetheless, that Indiana beating was epic. And then UCLA came to town. Well, LSU, when UCLA went to travel to Baton Rouge, they lost 34-17. Oregon beat them up 34-13. Penn State came in and finished them off 27-11. Minnesota in the run game of the Golden Gophers 21-17. Then Rutgers showed up in town. They actually won that game. They play Nebraska. November the 2nd. So they got a bye week. I don't know what you do with that. Nebraska might be damaged goods because they just got embarrassed by Indiana. Tomorrow they have to play Ohio State coming off a bye. Ohio State's coming off a bye week. They're going to make an example out of Nebraska. They're going to want to get this Oregon taste out of their mouth. And what happened at Oregon and Nebraska at home, that's going to be a sledgehammer of a game. Then they play Iowa, Washington. They play another disappointing team in USC. And then they close the game. They close out the season at Fresno State. I had more hope for them because they had a NFL pro offensive coordinator, the guy who they always try to link Patrick Mahomes' success to. But looking at what UCLA has become, I would not try to put that together. I would not even utter those words in the same sentence. Give me a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. Burger King. BK, have it your way because you rule. Order online, download the app, or visit the good folks at your local Burger King. If you have the app, they've got the limited time only, the cheesy tots, the things and rings, and your way meal. You can go ahead and combine anything from your Whopper Jr. to your 4-piece nugget, value fries, and cola. You can customize that order. You can do that all through the app. BK, have it your way, because you rule. Yeah, BK, get it for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not all at the same day. Break that up. Breakfast one day, lunch the next, dinner the other, that kind of thing. On Friday night, yeah, Burger King, if you're going to a high school football game or you want to go headed out to a movie, or, Burger King's a nice kind of after thing. USC. Coach Riley, and I'm high on Miller Moss. I like Miller Moss. I like him as a quarterback. I like his work ethic. I really like Coach Lincoln and how he's tried to inspire the guys, that DeAnton Lynn defense. And it started out good, but then it faded fast. UCLA right now, USC, Jesus, I'm still hurt by UCLA, but USC right now is 1-4 in the Big 10, 3-4 overall, 2-1 at home, and 0-3 on the road. They haven't won a road game, and they've lost these close games, which can also be infuriating. It can be infuriating. To me, I think when they took that loss to Michigan, that was a game that they needed to actually win, and they lost that game 24-27. And then they beat up Wisconsin 38-21. Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, they put the ball on the ground, and then they won 24-17. USC had a chance to win that game, but like I was telling a lot of people, if you're not from this part of the country, it gets cold around late October and early November, and in some places you have snow on the ground and the temperatures get really frigid. And so if you're from the West Coast where it doesn't get this cold, and then now you start getting hit, everything hurts. The nose of the football hurts trying to catch it. The ground hurts a little bit more. And you just have this thing like, look, I'm tired at this point. So it's one of those things of attrition. Not to cut anybody like excuses for anybody. Penn State came in, won a thriller, had to come back and snatch that victory from the jaws of defeat, 33-30 in OT. That would have been a really good win, a high win that would have propelled USC and had them make the case that they can play up and somehow make this college football playoff. But right now they're mathematically eliminated. There's not enough good teams in the back end of that schedule to make a difference. Then Maryland, that loss to Maryland was ugly, 28-29. Maryland pulled that out, and right then and there, it's almost like they pulled the heart out of that team. It's like they pulled the heart out of that team. Now, the last bit of the games for them, Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, and then Notre Dame. The problem with this is that out of all of those games I just mentioned, 2 of those teams only have winning records. That's Rutgers and that's Notre Dame. The rest of that gambit or menagerie of games they have left, they're really the bottom of the Big 10. Washington's not a factor at all, anywhere, anytime soon. Nebraska is on the decline. They can't score points in the bottom of, like I said, they can't score points in the second half, and they're really at the bottom of the Big 10. Washington is 2-2. They're 2-2 in the conference, 4-3 overall, 4-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. That's who you got to look up to. Rutgers, like I said, I want to correct myself. Rutgers, they have a winning record at 4-3, but they've only won one game in the conference. They've only won one game in the conference. They're 1-3 in the Big 10. They have no chance of beating anybody in the Big Ten, that's a toss-up. And so when you look at those last gambit of games that they have coming up, again, it's not enough to make a case for them to get into a college playoff. He's mathematically been eliminated from that. There's no way they can make the Big Ten championship game. At this point, you're just hoping for a respectable bowl game. And if it's respectable, who do you even want to play? Who knows? Give me a quick 20 from a rap album, and then we'll close this thing out. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. It's your boy Big Vern. You know how we do. Promoting another rap album this month, Overcast. Cast Got Wings. In stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the album is Up, Pay Me a Grip, Caught Up, Beat It Up, and many more. Overcast, Cast Got Wings, in stores now. Yeah, shout out to Cash, shout out to Overcast. Make sure you go get the album. Really good album. Cast Got Wings. I know I've been banging it all this week. All last week I was banging it too. I love that. Pay me a grip. Pay me a grip. I love that. But back to reality. Snap back to reality. So this one is dedicated to Michigan. And you all know I've covered Michigan ad nauseum, and pretty much I'm not going to go ahead and go over that soliloquy. There are videos on the channel. Have at it, feast, enjoy. But Michigan is an abject failure. And for the defending national champions, this has been anything but smooth sailing. Right now, Michigan is 2-2 in the conference, 4-3 overall, 4-1 at home, and 0-2 on the road. They as well cannot win games on the road. They are on their third quarterback. The first guy, he could not stop throwing interceptions. They had to get rid of him. Then they brought in Alex Orjai. Alex Orjai can't throw. They figured that out. They had to sit him down. Insert Tuttle. Tuttle's throwing interceptions. It's almost like you're doing anything to see what works. At some point, the good folks of Michigan and Ann Arbor don't answer your phone if it rings and you see the University of Michigan, because they may ask you to come out and let's look at what you look like in a 3-step drop, 5-step drop. Let me see what that deep ball looks like. Let me see if you can make passes over the shoulder, left shoulder. You get it, but it's just hard to watch. They play Michigan State, which is an in-state rival. They're playing them in Ann Arbor. They may win that game. Then they play Oregon. There's no way in hell they're beating Oregon. Then they have to play Indiana after the Oregon game on the road. And I've been telling people this, Indiana might just be the monkey wrench that gums up a lot of this works for a lot of these teams trying to get into that college playoff. Because Indiana right now, they are in the driver's seat. They play the Michigan States. They play Michigan. They play Ohio State coming down the pipe. And then they finish with the bottom dweller, which is Purdue, the Purdue Hood Rats. But I don't think Michigan can beat Indiana. Not at home. Not at Kurt Signetti. Not when he's calling his shot. Then there's Northwestern, and then they close their season out at Ohio State. Northwestern doesn't have a winning record. Michigan State is middle of the road. You've got 3 juggernauts on the schedule. And at some point, you have to go ahead and wonder, where did this thing jump off the rails? Was it Michigan overpaying Wink Martindale for services that were, I think he bluffed his way into a $2 million contract he did not deserve. He bluffed and parlayed his way into a contract he did not deserve. This man came with a resume saying that he is the archetype of that Baltimore Ravens defense, and he had these kind of accomplishments. When Baltimore got rid of him, New York went after him. It didn't make a difference. It was marginal at best. It was window dressing. New York got rid of him. He's sitting here, he made his way and scammed the good folks of Ann Arbor. You mean to tell me a guy who spent 20 some odd years in the NFL, he can't stop a college offense? Come on now. I mean, it's just we're working on our third quarterback. We got a defense that can't stop anybody. We got a really good running back. If we can ever get him the chance to actually display his talents, Michigan is an abject failure. A abject failure. Well, that's the show. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. We love each and every one of you all. Be safe. Enjoy your weekend. And we will see you here on a bright and early Monday.